Hi there guys, welcome back to Classic Shack, and today we're going to be working on my 2006 Mercedes CLK. So for quite a while I've had a problem that's getting progressively worse where the car goes into limp mode. So much so now that it's pretty much constantly in limp mode. I had it plugged in at a local garage to diagnose the problem, and it's come back saying that it needs a new turbo actuator. The garage came back with a price of, I think it was about £1,800, because they said they can't supply the actuator on its own, it has to be a replacement turbo and actuator together. But after doing a little bit of research, I found out that you can remove the actuator on its own and I will send it away for a repair. You can repair it yourself if you're good at soldering, but I'm not. So yeah, well, I'm gonna remove it, send it away for repair, and then fingers crossed the car won't be going into limp mode anymore. So I'm just going to spin this camera around, show you the engine management light on the dash and the code that's coming up on the sort of cheap little code reader that I've got. So yeah, let's spin the camera around. Right, I'll just start the car up. And this is the light that comes on my dash, engine management light. For the majority of the time with the faults, there was no lights on my dash. So yeah, only right at the very end where it's been pretty much constantly in limp mode did that light come on, which is also when I had it diagnosed by the garage. So I'm going to turn the car off, and then I'll show you on the OBD reader what the code number is that's coming up on this. Okay, hopefully we can see this on camera with the glare that there is at the minute, but I'm just selecting the OBD. This is a really cheap little code reader. It does allow me to turn the light out, but it basically just comes back on straight away. So this is just finding the vehicle now, talking to it, and then it's telling me it's got one code. So I'm going to read the code, and the code's coming up as P0234, generic code, but it's turbocharger overboost condition. So yeah, I'm just going to get on with removing the actuator and then sending it away for repair. So I'll film me removing that in case it helps anybody out. Okay then, so I'm actually filming this bit after I've done the job, but what I'd recommend is getting a set of these. Now they're like stubby Torx tools. You really only need a T30, but I got these off Amazon. They weren't expensive. They were, I think it was 15 quid. So yeah, there's one little bracket that you have to remove that I couldn't get any other tool in, so I'd recommend getting a set of them. When it comes to removing the actual actuator, it is much easier to get it out if it's unplugged. I couldn't unplug it with it in place, so I had to force it out. But when it comes to putting it back, you can slide it back into place and then plug it in easier. But if you've got smaller hands than me and you might be able to unplug it before you get the actuator out, that's a good thing to do. Also, some of the footage I took is better when I come to put it all back together, because it was easier to see some of the parts rather than when I'm taking it apart. So if you are going to do this job and you're watching this video so that you can see how you do it, I'd watch the whole video before you do it, and then you can refer back to bits if you need to. So yeah, hope this helps. Right, okay, bonnet's up obviously. Here's the engine. First job, pull this cover off, it literally just pops on. And then basically the actuator and the turbo is below this. So it's a case of stripping this bit out in order to be able to get to the basically front of the turbo. So I'm going to move this camera over a little bit so you can see what I'm doing, and then going to get on with stripping this. Right, first off, going to move the air filter housing. So there's these metal clips here, 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 and at the back, two on this side. Flat blade screwdriver, just flick them open. Remove the air filter. Right, next up we've got two sensors here that the wiring needs removing. They're just pushing clips at the top of this one. And this one's just got one. Just put those to one side. I'm going to remove this Jubilee clip and then detach this large pipe and this plastic pipe from the airbox. Right, I've pulled this pipe off, I've pulled this plastic pipe off. This one's a Jubilee clip, this one's a case of squeezing it together to release it out of this, and then this airbox just lifts up, it's just held in with rubber bungs. I've already popped this off because mine was stuck in there pretty well, but it does just lift out. So it's got two securing ones that go in that way, and then two here that push down. So it's literally from the front, grab it up and then pull it this way. Now this pipe here was connected here. Ideally I wanted to move this hose, but I can't get this clip unclipped, so I'm going to persist with that off camera and then come back to you. Right, after a little bit of fighting, I've got that out. It was just a case of getting a flat blade screwdriver in here, pull this grey bit up, sort of, because it's like that way around, pull it up, and then it allows you to push it in to remove the clip. Next job is to remove this heat shield. Okay, get some gloves on now because it's getting a bit greasy in there. This is like I don't know what you call it. It's not a Torx, it's like the opposite to a Torx, but this is an E10. I basically need to pull this pipe here off now because the actuator is below that. Here's the like actuator arm here. So next I'm going to undo these couple of bolts, pull this pipe off and try and get to the front of the turbo underneath the inlet pipe. Right, I've lost some of the footage, so I'm not sure what where I last finished off, but basically I ended up removing this pipe. It's an intercooler pipe. You just got a clip here, you put a screwdriver in there, push it sideways and it will come out. This is then held on with two other E10 bolts. Just about to pull that out, and then hopefully I can get access to the actuator that's below that. Okay, so I've removed the section out of here, and then the three actuator bolts. There's one there, and one down there. The actuator arm is here. There's a little pin on there that you have to remove. You can either remove it from this end or this end. This bolt here is a pain because this screw holding this bracket sticks out too far, so you can't get to it. So I'm going to remove this screw from here, or little bolt, so that I can get on the three bolts for the actuator. Okay, here's the actuator arm removed. These are the little clips it uses. So you just put a screwdriver in the top of it, lift it out carefully, otherwise that'll ping miles. Right, I finally managed to wrestle it out. It's a pain. It's easy to like remove all the bits to get to it. This is the bolt pattern on it, so I couldn't quite show you it down there, but it sits like that inside, behind. It's basically below the turbo like that. The rod fits on here. So I ended up removing another bracket here that goes between it looks like it bolts on the side of the alternator to the housing of the turbo, in order to be able to force this out, and it really was forcing it out. And all that's connecting it is the one rod, 3 bolts, and then one plug on the back. So I'm going to send that away now to be repaired, and while it's away I might clean up some of them oily bits, but yeah, give that a quick clean as well. But yeah, hopefully I'll be back with a reconditioned actuator. Okay, it's a new day. It's been about 3 or 4 days since I took the actuator off and sent it away. I cleaned up the area where it was, because it looks like where this has been filled up, the oil has been topped up and spilt out. It had like run down the side, and that's what the oil on this was down here as well. So over the years it's just accumulated, because it didn't look like any of it had been apart before. And my unit's back, so this is the company I used, Essex Recons, and it looks like they've cleaned all the casing, and it comes with a 2-year warranty, so hopefully we'll be all good when I put it back on. So yeah, I'm just going to get on with putting it back together. Right, as I put it together, I'm going to try and show you a little bit better how I managed to get it out. But if I drop this down here, try and see if I can see the holes. So basically the actuator bolts on with these holes here, one here, one there, and one down there. So if you can see right down there, there's a plug, that's the actuator plug, and I need to try and fit the actuator through this hole in order to set it back in place behind the turbo. Okay, so I've slid the actuator in behind the turbo. You can see it just there. I found it's easier to slide it in and then put the brown plug on once it's in place, The plug can only go on one way round, so that's pretty simple. I'm just now trying to put the bolts in. I've got one just sat in one of the holes there that I'm just about to line up and put the actuator back on. So next job, just bolt that actuator on. They're 10mm bolts. Okay, so there's the 3 bolts back in holding the actuator. The next thing I'm going to do is put the actuator rod back on while there's a bit of space there to get to that. Okay, so there's the actuator rod on with the 2 little clips, one on each end. Next job, I'm going to fit this bracket back on. Now this goes from the turbo housing just down there to the side of the alternator. I can't get the camera in there properly, but when you come to do this, there's no space at all, so I've ended up having to buy a set of these. They're basically like slim fit Torx bolts, or Torx tools, so that you can get the bolts in. So yeah, next job, put that little bracket back on. Okay, so here's this bracket back on. It's held on with 3 T30 bolts, so that's back on. Next off, I'm going to fit the pipe that goes in to the bottom of the turbo here. Okay, next up, I'm bolting this back on. This goes in the bottom of the turbo, and the intercooler pipe goes in this end of it. So let's see if I can show you. It basically goes in here, and then it bolts on to the side of the alternator, which is there and there. Okay, so this pipe here is back on. I found putting a bit of WD-40 helped it slide back into the bottom of the turbo housing a bit easier. 2 bolts here that hold this wiring and connect this to the turbo are bolted in, and then the 2 bolts that are underneath it, one's about there and one is further down underneath. They're both back in. So next off, I'm gonna, might as well do that one here now. Fit this intercooler pipe. You can hear that click into place. Next off, I'm going to fit the pipe that goes from the turbo. It's the pipe that goes from the turbo to the airbox in. I've fitted this bracket back on. These have got 2 different size bolts to this, but there's only 2 holding it on, so it's pretty obvious where they go. This sensor is plugged back in, so it's just a case now putting the airbox back on. Sorry, I forgot. Heat shield goes on before the airbox. That's just held on with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bolts. Okay, that's everything back together. The airbox on, filter inside it, lid on it, this pipe connected back up, Jubilee clip done up, and the 2 sensor clips put back on. It is literally just a case of me putting the plastic cover back on, and then it's time to try it. Right, there we have it, all back together. So I'm just about to jump inside now, reset the error codes, and then see if it will start. Okay, I've been out for a drive. Let's put the ignition on. I've done just over 40 miles. I did all sorts of driving, higher speed, and I did some hard acceleration to check it all, and everything's been running fine. So I'm just going to show you the OBD reader again. No faults, so that's good. And then start it up. No more engine management light either, so I'd say that was a good conclusion to the repair. So yeah, it's pretty much back to normal now, which is good. Okay, so if you stayed this long, thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a like, leave me a comment below. I'd also like to thank Sam, who told me that I was able to change this actuator even when the garage had told me it was turbo and actuator replacement together. So if you are watching this, cheers Sam, and yeah, thanks for watching. See you all later.